Imagine waking up to the roar of flames devouring your family legacy. All because some self-appointed neighborhood queen decided your solar panels were a visual blight on her perfect suburbia. But here's the kicker. The guy whose house she torched wasn't just any retiree. He was the federal judge who'd spent decades locking up crooks just like her. And oh, the sweet, smoky irony when her empire of petty rules came crashing down, one forged signature at a time. The crisp autumn air in Willow Creek Estates carried the faint scent of freshly mowed lawns and brewing trouble. Nestled in the rolling hills of suburban Colorado, this gated community looked like a postcard from the American dream. Manicured hedges, identical mailboxes, and a clubhouse that hosted bingo nights where the real game was gossip. But beneath the veneer of tranquility lurked a suffocating web of HOA regulations. No pink flamingos, grass must be exactly 2.5 inches tall, and God forbid you park your RV for more than 48 hours. Elias Hawthorne, no relation to the nightmare about to unfold, had inherited my grandparents' 30-acre plot smack in the middle of it all. At 62, after retiring from a career I kept under wraps, I thought I'd finally escape the courtroom dramas for some peace. Boy, was I wrong. My property was a holdout from the old days, predating the HOA by decades. I'd poured my savings into eco-upgrades, wind turbines whispering in the breeze, a vegetable garden bursting with heirloom tomatoes, and a rainwater system that made me feel like a pioneer in a world of water-guzzling sprinklers. Neighbors waved politely, but I caught the side eyes. They whispered about the eccentric old coot who didn't conform. I ignored it, sipping coffee on my porch, observing the daily parade of luxury SUVs and dog walkers. Patience was my virtue. I'd learned it from years of watching defendants squirm. Then came Karen Abernathy, the HOA president who'd clawed her way to power like a reality TV villain auditioning for mayor. 55, with a helmet of bleached blonde hair and lips perpetually pursed in judgment, Karen ran her real estate side hustle with the ruthlessness of a shark in heels. Divorced twice, she channeled her bitterness into enforcing community standards that conveniently boosted property values and her commissions. Her BMW purred up my gravel drive one sunny morning, kicking up dust like an invading army. She stepped out in a pantsuit sharper than her tongue, clipboard in hand, eyes scanning my land like it was a crime scene. "Mr. Hawthorne, is it?" she called, her voice honeyed with that fake southern drawl some Coloradans adopt to sound folksy. "I'm Karen Abernathy, your friendly HOA president. We've got some concerns about your setup here." I set down my pruning shears, wiping sweat from my brow. "Morning, ma'am." "Concerns? My place isn't even under HOA jurisdiction. Deed goes back to 48. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. It never did. "Oh, bless your heart. But times change. Your windmills are casting shadows on Mrs. Jenkins' prize roses. And that garden, it's attracting wildlife. We can't have rabbits nibbling at our uniformity." She flipped through her clipboard, citing rules that sounded like they were written by a committee of board accountants. I chuckled softly, the kind that masks irritation. Rabbits? Last I checked, nature wasn't a violation. But if you'd like, I can show you the legal exemptions. She stiffened, her pearls clicking like tiny accusations. "We'll see about that, Mr. Hawthorne. The community comes first." As she sashayed back to her car, I caught her muttering under her breath, "Stubborn relic." Little did she know, I was already filing that away, like evidence in a case. The whispers started small, like ripples in a pond. At the local diner, folks avoided my booth, murmuring about how my unsightly upgrades were tanking home values. Anonymous notes appeared in my mailbox. Conform or sell out. I stayed silent, but my security cams, discreetly installed, captured everything. Karen's first real jab came via email blast to the neighborhood. Urgent alert. Non-compliant property endangering our serene lifestyle. Attached were photos of my turbines, photoshopped to look rusty and hazardous. I responded privately, MS. Abernathy, perhaps we could discuss this over coffee? No need for theatrics. Her reply, the rules are clear, Mr. Hawthorne. Compliance is not optional. The irony burned. Her own house had a gaudy fountain that violated water conservation codes. But who was counting? Weeks ticked by, and the pressure mounted like a slow-building storm. Inspectors knocked daily. County health for potential septic leaks. Bogus. Zoning for unauthorized structures. Permitted years ago. Each left scratching their heads. Reports clean. Karen's face at HOA meetings, broadcast on the community app, grew tighter, her speeches laced with righteous indignation. We must protect our investments from those who flout the spirit of unity, she'd declare. To nods from her cronies, a clique of retirees and ladder climbers who feared her wrath more than her logic. One evening, as I grilled steaks for my visiting niece, a tow truck rumbled up, hooking my old pickup. HOA order, the driver grunted. Unauthorized vehicle storage. I stepped out, calm as ever. That's my daily driver, son. Parked in my own drive. He shrugged. Lady said it's an eyesore. Gotta go. I unhooked it myself, citing property rights. But the message was clear. Karen was testing boundaries. That night, I dug into public records from my laptop, the glow illuminating my face like a detective in a noir film. Turns out, Karen's real estate firm had a deal brewing with a developer eyeing my land for luxury condos. My non-compliance was her golden ticket to a fat payout. I smiled in the dark. Predators always leave tracks. The real fun began when Karen escalated to public shaming. At the next HOA barbecue, mandatory attendance. Of course, she cornered me by the potato salad. Elias, darling, your little farm experiment is charming, but it's bringing down the neighborhood aesthetic. Think of the children. Do you want them growing up around chaos? I spooned extra salad onto my plate. Chaos? Like your fountain that's wasting enough water to fill a pool? Or the emergency fund that's mysteriously short $150,000? Her eyes narrowed, but she laughed it off. Oh, you're funny. But seriously, sell while you can. The market's hot. The crowd tittered nervously, but I saw the cracks, her voice pitched higher, hands fidgeting with her necklace. Back home, the sabotage kicked in. My power flickered out during a storm. Routine maintenance, the utility said, but my cams showed HOA workers tampering at midnight. Then the road crew repaired my access lane, turning it into a muddy trench for weeks. Deliveries bounced back. Mail vanished. I hiked for groceries, chuckling at the absurdity. A grown man playing pioneer because of a woman's ego trip. MS. Abernathy, I emailed. This pettiness is beneath even you. Let's talk. Her response. Safety first, Mr. Hawthorne. Your isolation is self-inflicted. Isolation? She was turning my paradise into a prison. But I documented it all, timestamps, photos, even soil samples from the repairs. Patience. I reminded myself. Bullies overplay their hand. The turning point hit like a sucker punch. Rumors swirled. I was a recluse hoarder, environmental hypocrite, dumping chemicals. Flyers appeared on windshields. Beware the outsider, protect our homes. My niece got harassing calls at work. Your uncle's a fraud. Watch your back. I felt the sting, but anger fueled focus. Digging deeper, I uncovered Karen's skeletons. Ethics complaints from her real estate days, shady HOA finances funneled to her developer pals, even a nephew in the EPA who'd filed a bogus complaint about my rainwater system. Nepotism at its finest. Time to counter. I contacted a local reporter, Lena Vargas, feeding her the dossier anonymously at first. Follow the money, I whispered over a burner phone. The exposed dropped like a bomb. HOA Queen's reign of terror, embezzlement, and harassment exposed. The neighborhood buzzed. At the emergency HOA meeting, Karen stood at the podium, voice quivering under her poise. This is fake news, folks, a smear campaign by disgruntled elements. We need unity now more than ever. Let's amend the bylaws to include all properties for fair enforcement. She waved a petition. Signatures galore. But I spotted forgeries, sloppy loops, mismatched inks. Standing up, I said mildly, interesting document, Karen. Care to verify those names? Mrs. Ellis passed away last year. Yet here's her John Hancock. The room gasped. Karen's face flushed beet red. You're the problem. Stirring up trouble because you hate rules. This community deserves better than your anarchy. Anarchy? From the woman cooking books? Laughter bubbled in my chest. But I held it. Rules are fine when they're fair. Yours seem selective. She slammed her gavel. Meeting adjourned. But the seed was planted. Doubts spread like weeds in her perfect lawns. Karen doubled down, going full scorched earth. Vandalism hit. Freak out, spray painted on my barn. Tires slashed. Whispers evolved to outright lies. I was a disgraced ex-con hiding in the hills. My family felt the heat, threats to my niece's job, doxing online. The air thickened with paranoia. Neighbors split into camps, her loyalists glaring, old-timers slipping me notes of support. Stay strong, one whispered at the store. She's ruined my business with her lies. I nodded, but inside, the plan crystallized. Using old contacts, FBI buddies from my undisclosed past, I traced the harassment, IP addresses to her office, calls from her burner. A retired accountant neighbor, Gladys, handed me boxes of HOA records she'd copied. She's been skimming for years, Gladys hissed. Time to fight back, to counter the isolation narrative. I hosted barbecues, free food, no agenda. First one, 10 wary guests. By the third, 30, sharing horror stories. She fined me for my kid's lemonade stand. One laughed bitterly. The gatherings mocked Karen's control, her spies reporting back with fury. Her PR blitz backfired hilariously. She hired a firm to paint me as a rogue element, leaking tips to authorities about my corruption. But investigations cleared me instantly, boomeranging to her. Wiretaps caught her ranting. If that old fool won't budge, we'll make him wish he had. Burn the eyesore if we must. Burn? The word chilled. But I smirked. Arrogance always records itself. Desperation peaked when Karen recruited a shady handyman. Vince, fired for botched jobs. For $8,000 cash. He'd stage an accidental fire during a blackout she orchestrated. But Vince's ex tipped the cops. setting a trap. That night, I evacuated quietly, watching from afar as flames licked my home. Heartbreaking, yet poetic, her controlled burn, for safety violations, exposed on my cams. Her directing from the shadows like a bad Bond villain. Arrests followed. Vince sang like a canary. Bank trails led to Karen. She called the news, feigning shock. Poor man. Probably torched it himself for insurance. Unstable. The outrage ignited. Neighbors rallied. Funds poured in. FBI raids hit her empire. Embezzled funds. Forgeries. Conspiracies unearthed. The town hall climax was pure theater. Packed hall. Media frenzy. Karen sauntered in. Suit impeccable, but eyes wild. I took the stage amid applause. "Folks," I said softly, then thundered, "I'm Federal Judge Elias Hawthorne, retired after 25 years jailing crooks like MS. Abernathy here," gasps echoed. Her face crumpled, priceless, like watching a balloon deflate. I laid out evidence. Recordings, docs, her own words projected large. "You terrorized us in the name of order, but order doesn't include arson and theft." She erupted. "Lies! I'm the victim. You abused power. You're the tyrant." The crowd booed as agents cuffed her mid-rant. "Sheep, all sheep," she wailed, heels scraping. Justice rolled swift. Karen got 18 years federal time. Restitution millions. Accomplices fell like dominoes. Nephew fired. Developer bankrupt. We rebuilt my home stronger, with a community center mocking her rules. Property values soared. Ironically, from the publicity. I penned a bestseller. HOA Hell, a judge's verdict, sparking reforms nationwide. Marrying Lena, the reporter, in our new garden sealed the triumph. Communities healed. Potlucks replaced fines. Gardens bloomed freely. Every sunrise now tastes like victory, proving petty power crumbles under truth. But tell me, was Karen the real villain, or just a product of a system that lets HOA tyrants run amok? True or false? In suburbia, rules protect the powerful more than the people? Drop your take below. Let's debate who's truly at fault.